UDM. This is Ali Jean-Francois,
I'm Cole Hostetler.
and this is
Titan
Titan
Talk.
Talk. All right, this is a very exciting episode. We have a special guest here. Now, for the people who are probably watching this, you can probably take a guess of who this is. But if you're not, if you're just listening to this, having this on the background, cool. So my special guest that we have here is from Shelby Township, Michigan, a Detroit alum of the class of 2018. He started his career of coaching as a GA right after graduating, and he was an assistant coach starting at 2021 and 2024, and became a head coach at Detroit Mercy 2024. He's an eight-year professional lacrosse player, the PLL, playing for the Philadelphia Water Dogs, a short stick defensive midfielder, and when he was playing in college at Detroit Mercy, he was an all MAC first team, three-time Detroit Mercy athletic director honor roll, seventh overall in cost turnovers per game, tallied 83 ground balls. And for people who don't know about lacrosse, ground balls are the toughest thing of the game. During his senior year, he averaged 5 ground balls total in each game, and the most legendary record that he has is 34 cost turnovers his senior year, which was the most cost turnovers by a short stick defensive midfielder in NCAA history. And I am so glad and so honored to introduce my coach, Charlie Hayes.
Thank you, Don. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Obviously, really excited to to be a part of this new show and kind of kickstart it all off.
Yeah. So we're gonna just ask, how are you? How are you doing? What has this season been like for you so far this year?
Yeah, doing good. We are 5 games in right now. Kind of off to a little bit of a slow start, but the practice this week has been really good. Our goal at the beginning of the year is to make sure we're playing our best lacrosse at the end of the year come conference play, and so not necessarily where we want to be currently, but still a long season ahead of us, and just working on improving every day right now.
Yeah, for sure. I just remember also being a part of the team. I know the first few games are actually our toughest game is to prepare us for conference play. Now, obviously, a lot of people may be confused of why don't we just, be like other teams where we can just play teams our level, but what is the philosophy behind that?
Yeah, I think, first things first, we're a Division I lacrosse program here in Michigan, and there is not a whole lot of Division I lacrosse programs in the Midwest in general. And so, we look at it two ways in how we go about our non-conference schedule. I think one being we want to play the best teams, in the country in our non-conference schedule. Two being easy travel as well. We once we get into conference play at the end of the year, we travel a lot to the East Coast for a lot of those games, and so the travel can be a little bit difficult on us. And so, being here in the Midwest, we play Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, and Marquette every single non-conference schedule. So those are, all arguably top 20 teams year in and year out. And so we think that's going to set us up for success come the end of the year, playing the best teams in the country. And, it just makes a lot of sense for us geographically as well.
Yeah, and I want to ask, kind of build off of that. And this is the case for a lot of mid-majors across different sports, whether that be basketball or football, baseball, obviously lacrosse. But the non-conference schedule is one that's very difficult, and mid-major programs kind of set it up that way. As a head coach, how do you kind of evaluate, whether it's a win or a loss, how do you kind of evaluate those games against really tough top competition?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Obviously every single game that we play, we want to win. But when we play some of the best teams in the country, for instance, we opened up with Ohio State this year. They were a top 10 team in the country. I think at the preseason polls, they were number 9 in the country. And, our goal every single time we touch the field is to come out of there with a win. But, when you play some of those really good teams, you have to make sure that you're just taking advantage of every opportunity. And so, we try to highlight, the good and the bads every single week. But our goal is just ultimately to play our brand of lacrosse and to work on getting better every single week.
Yeah. No, so with this podcast, we were always trying to pivot away from solely focusing on lacrosse or the sport of what you're playing and what you're coaching. So I have some questions for you, and I want people to get to know you more, not only just as a coach, but also as a person. So what made you fall in love with lacrosse in the first place?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And honestly, I don't know if it was lacrosse I fell in love with as much as just competing. I grew up playing three sports my entire life. In high school, I was a three-sport athlete playing football, basketball, and lacrosse. And so, where I grew up, lacrosse was honestly the third sport that you kind of focused on. And, obviously I loved the game of lacrosse, but more than anything, I just loved competing and kind of being the man in the arena. And so, you know, lacrosse specifically to me, I think, started really growing and evolving because I think it's very similar to a number of other sports. Having played football and basketball in addition to lacrosse growing up, I think lacrosse has characteristics of a number of different sports. And so I feel like, I take things from the football field and the basketball court and can use that on the lacrosse field. And so I think that's what kind of made me fall in love with the game so much as I got to the college level.
What positions did you play in the other two?
When I was playing football, I played two ways. All of high school, I was a wide receiver and a defensive back, and in basketball, I was a point guard. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, what got you into coaching, actually? Like, what did you ever imagine yourself, actually, when you were playing? Did you ever think that you would ever become a coach?
Yeah, I can't say I did, honestly. Again, having played sports my entire childhood and really, playing football, basketball, and lacrosse, every sport really overlapped throughout the calendar year. And so, I had always knew I was going to be involved in athletics some way, but, honestly, I probably can't say that I ever imagined, being a college lacrosse coach. That kind of came a little bit at the end after graduation and after getting my feet wet in the coaching world.
Okay. Now I want to ask. Obviously, you're still amidst your playing career too.
Yeah.
I must admit, I didn't know that until Ali Don and I were preparing for. I didn't know that you were. I knew that you did play. I didn't know that you were still playing, and that the PLL season was not the same as the collegiate season. How do you balance those? Because obviously you're technically in the off season of your playing career, but you're obviously in the coaching season right now. How do you balance the two? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to still play and at the professional level. Honestly, professional lacrosse is not, obviously where the NFL, the NBA, or the NHL and MLB are. The sport as a whole is still growing, and at the professional level, the sport is growing as well. I honestly think that the PLL can get to where a lot of these major professional sports franchise or organizations are. But right now, honestly, you see a lot of professional lacrosse players coaching college lacrosse as well. The seasons kind of just line up perfectly. Our professional season pretty much starts mid-May and goes all summer long and concludes kind of at the start of September. And so, for me, it can be difficult to balance in the summertime as it pertains to recruiting. The summertime for recruiting as a college lacrosse coach is really what you spend most of your time doing. And so, it's been a little bit difficult to balance, but, having great assistant coaches that, are on the recruiting trail in the summertime, really helped me, balance the two. And so, just been really fortunate to be able to play at the professional level. And like I said, there's a lot of, professional lacrosse players that are coaching across the country as well and doing the same thing. So.
Oh. And with that being said, what advantages do you think that you have as a coach, being a current player and a coach at the same time? What advantages do you think you have?
Yeah, still playing for one, keeps me up to speed with everything. It gives me in my opinion, a good mindset in terms of understanding what my players are going through on a day-to-day basis because I'm, still doing it as well. But I think more than anything, playing at the professional level has given me the opportunity to meet some new people. I'm playing with the best lacrosse players in the world. Some of the best lacrosse players ever I've shared the field with and shared locker rooms with. And so, being able to build relationships with, those teammates that, like I said, are also coaching across the country at numerous other, Division I schools, and then playing under some pretty awesome coaches as well. At the professional level, a lot of the coaches in the pro game are ex-college coaches that have had really successful careers at the college level. And so, I've had the ability to play under coaches like Andy Copeland and Bill Tierney currently. And Bill Tierney is the winningest college lacrosse coach in NCAA history. He's won 7 national championships, and so he's my coach currently. And, having the ability to, again, be in the locker room and be in film sessions and on the practice field with him, I take a lot of what, I learned from those guys and bring it to, to my team here at Detroit.
So obviously you played here, but how was your journey from playing lacrosse growing up to actually playing at Detroit Mercy? Like, what was the thing that drew you most to the Titans here?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, like I said earlier briefly, lacrosse was probably my third sport growing up. I went to a public school in Shelby Township, Michigan, and so, for those that don't know, lacrosse in general in Michigan is still growing. It's not the hotbed on the East Coast where it's taken as seriously as it is out there, and so. For me growing up, football was everything, going to a big private school. And so lacrosse wasn't focused on as much. And, as I was kind of getting older and older and trying to realize and figure out what I was going to do at the college level, I got an offer to come to Detroit Mercy, and it was my only Division I offer that I had. And so, I've always been someone that wants to compete at the highest level possible. And, I'm from Detroit, Shelby Township, like I said, but I'm from here. And so I just really wanted to have the opportunity to play at the highest level possible and compete kind of in my hometown and for my city. And so that's kind of what got me here.
Yeah. And I kind of want to pivot a little bit on something, especially from a coaching perspective. A lot of people always talk about the grind of the athlete, but what does the grind look like from a coaching perspective?
Yeah, honestly, it's not too different. I at least try to have the same mindset. You're putting in long hours on a daily basis, and my biggest thing is just making sure that I'm putting our guys in the best possible situations to be successful. You know what I mean? If our guys are practicing, I'm there. If our guys are in the weight room working out, I'm there. So I'm going through the same kind of stuff that they are, not as physically demanding, obviously, but I'm here, all day, every day. And like I said, my biggest thing is just making sure that I'm here for our guys and putting them in the best situations possible. I think one of the unique things for me, here at Detroit is, not only am I the head coach, I'm also the defensive coordinator of the team. So balancing that can be a little bit difficult at times. I feel like I wear a lot of hats around here, but again, at the end of the day, it's just making sure that I'm doing everything I possibly can to help our team win and put our guys in good situations to be successful. So it's a grind, but I enjoy every second of it.
That's what's up. Yeah, no, like little that a lot of people don't know about. I know he doesn't talk much about himself, but this guy here, like I always see him in the weight room all the time, still to this day, even though he's a pro player. Like I kind of take on to what he does, and I always look up to him, and he already knows that about me. I always tell him all the time, like he's such an influential coach. That's why I feel like a lot of us players, we were so bought into the system, because not only are you just a coach, but you're also a person that understands, what we're going through, like you said earlier. So it's really cool to see that our head coach is still going as hard as we are. So like that kind of keeps us motivated to keep going. So
yeah, I appreciate that, Don.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
So obviously, like we already have stated, we want to get to know you as a lacrosse coach and player, but also on a personal level and give everybody else the chance to do that as well. So I'm going to pivot to some more personal questions. So outside of lacrosse, even though obviously it takes up a big part of your life, it's a big piece of it, what are some things that you like to do outside of lacrosse in your free time?
Yeah, I think that has changed over the years. I'm fortunate to, again, I mentioned growing up here in Michigan, not too far from campus here. And so I have the, nice ability to have college friends still in the area, as well as childhood friends and high school friends. And so I do a really good job on any, free weekends that I have of making sure I'm spending time with, with my close friends and hanging out with them as much as possible. I think as I've gotten older with my free time now, I really just want to spend quality time with my wife and, my wife and my dog, really. Spend quality time with them and, make sure that we're making the most of every opportunity we have. So, yeah.
Oh, what's your dog's name and what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Bernedoodle. So,
okay.
Yeah, Bernedoodle, his name is Leo. He's 2.5 now, so he's a bit of a nightmare, but he's awesome. So
That's awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, with you being a professional athlete, is there ever, like, I know your nutrition is probably up to par all the time because obviously you got to feel your body right to perform well. But like, is there a go-to cheat meal that you enjoy?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know if I have a specific go-to cheat meal specifically. I'm a big dessert guy.
Okay.
So yeah, if I'm ever having a big cheat day, it's Probably just some ice cream, some cookies.
Okay.
Yeah, probably just some dessert of some sort.
Okay.
What's a go-to flavor or two?
Oh, I'm very simple.
Very simple.
Yeah, vanilla ice cream, chocolate chip cookies.
Okay,
Yeah, very
okay.
simple,
I
yeah.
respect it. I like that.
Yeah. Have you ever gone? Speaking of desserts, have you ever gone to like? I don't know if they have a lot of like a restaurant called BJ's here.
Yeah,
yeah.
we got BJ's.
Yeah. Do you have you ever got the like Pizookie at all? Because it's like ice cream and cookie. That's like one of my favorite things. So back home in Vegas, like all the time when I'm back, and for me too, like my cheat meal, like whenever my friends or when I go back home, we always like, oh, let's go to BJ's, let's get like some Pizookies, and I always get like I'd always get like the strawberry like shortcake Pizookie, which is like super dope. But like you should try it.
Is it like a big cookie and like a skillet?
Yeah,
I've had something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah. So I was like, I just like when you said ice cream and cookies, I'm like, yeah, I immediately thought of that.
I'd be having something like that at Buffalo Wild Wings weekly, honestly. Yeah, with the pick 2 meal deal.
Yeah.
2 entrees, 2 sides, and then the ice cream on top of the cookie for an extra like $2.99 with the deal.
Yeah.
So if it's anything similar to that, it's fire. So do you have a secret talent that most people don't know about? Obviously, people know that you're good at lacrosse and know a lot about lacrosse, but are there other things that you're pretty good at, have a talent for that people might not know about?
That's a good question as well. I like to consider myself very good at a lot of different things, not an expert at one specific thing. I'm a pretty good bar games guy, darts, shuffleboard. Golden tee. Actually, golden tee might be a hidden talent of mine. I'm very, very good at golden tee.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, nothing too specific.
Okay, got you. Okay, so we'll kind of like take it back a little bit. So when you were, not only just as an athlete, but as a student, what was your favorite spot to be at, or like to study, or like just to hang out, maybe just get away from things? What was your favorite spot on campus to?
Geez, man, I just spent a lot of my time in Callahan Hall, as I'm sure you guys did as athletes. My favorite place, it's gonna sound cliche, but the weight room for me and Titan Field were my favorite spots. I spent a lot of time during final exam weeks in the second floor of the library.
Okay.
But no, honestly, other than the weight room, our locker room, and the field, I wasn't spending time in any other places around here.
Got you.
So even though obviously a lot of your time as a student and now dominated by lacrosse, what was one outstanding memory that you can remember that didn't have to do with playing lacrosse as a player? What was one memory here at the university that you really look back on and remember fondly?
For me, outside of lacrosse, it was always just attending the men's basketball game versus Oakland. Obviously that's a huge game for us every single year. But honestly, yeah, those are probably my best memories. We really, back in those days, and it's been getting back to that as of late, I think, for the basketball program. But we used to pack the the stadium out and pack Callahan all out for those games, and so just getting all of the other sports teams out to Callahan Hall for that one specific game was always a good memory of mine for sure.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how would your family or close friends would describe you in 3 words?
Probably loyal, hardworking, and fun. I know to probably most people, at least a lot of our players, they might not think the most fun, but yeah, probably loyal, hardworking, and fun.
Well, I'm gonna add on to the fun part because it took actually obviously being a player, and sometimes obviously when especially those hard days, it was not fun. But we have to I always have to have one of those days where you have a gut check, of course. Mm-hmm. But it took until when I was like, unfortunately, I broke my foot my last year, but I kind of. When I was not playing at that moment, but I was just being around the team, but then I've noticed a couple little things that you would do like during practice that I'm like, oh, okay, he's not always serious all the time. So it's just like he's actually a really funny guy, but it's just like you just have to catch him at the right time, kind of thing. So yeah, no, definitely, I can definitely vouch for being fun because I'm like, oh yeah, I could tell you're definitely a fun guy to be around.
Appreciate that.
And as a coach, that can be kind of a difficult balance, when to be all business and when to be all serious and when to relax a little bit and, have fun with your players and whatnot. So anybody that's watching out there that might want to go into coaching or be a coach, how do you balance those things?
Yeah, it's very tough. I think first and foremost, one of the things that I always try to be is just consistent, right? I think, again, I've been playing sports and been on so many teams in my life, and have had so many different coaches. I've kind of seen every end of the spectrum, and the biggest thing for me is being consistently yourself. Authenticity is a word thrown out there a lot, but consistency for me is a big piece. And I think, balancing, being hardworking and all business, but then also, kind of having some fun aspects of things with your team, it can be tough. I think understanding what's fun to certain people is really important, right? I think a lot of people sometimes just, throw out, let's have fun today, right? It's like, well, what does that mean, right? Like everybody's got a different idea of what fun is. And so it's definitely difficult. I'm still, I'm a young coach. I'm still trying to work through that right now for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And with the next question I have for you is that it would have to be, if not lacrosse, what sport or another career path would you have pursued?
Yeah. When I was going through college, I was super into, because of lacrosse and, all of that stuff. I was big into strength and conditioning in the weight room. We now here at Detroit Mercy have an exercise science program that just started this fall. I think if that was around in 2014, 2015 when I enrolled here, that might have been something that I went into to study. I think if I wasn't coaching lacrosse, maybe a strength and conditioning coach or a football coach. At this point in time too, I can't see myself doing anything other than coaching and just being around sports and a team. So probably strength and conditioning coach or a football coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you had the chance to talk to your younger self, say that, player in 2014, 2015 enrolling here, what kind of advice would you give that Charlie Hayes?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, for me it's pretty simple. It's something I've always lived by, but just, work hard and stay humble. I preach to our guys all the time about, emphasizing and working on just getting better every single day. I think I've mentioned it a couple times, today already. That's just something that I've always lived by. My dad kind of taught me and instilled those habits in me at a young age. If I could say anything to my younger self, just work hard, stay humble, and, really just make sure you're stacking good days.
Great advice for anybody.
No, 100%. And with that being said, how was Chuck in 2014, 2015 when you just got enrolling into college? Like, what was that version of, well, people don't know, we call him Chuck as well. So what that version of Chuck, how was he?
Well, back in 2014, it was a way different day and age than it is now. When I committed to Detroit Mercy, I guess social media was around, but not to the extent that it is now. I showed up on campus my first day and didn't know anybody. Had knew some names and some faces that I had played with or against here in Michigan, but nowadays, you have a 12 to 15 person recruiting class, and they show up on campus and they've already met each other, known each other, and talked for 6 months. That wasn't really the case back then. So when I showed up on campus, man, it was just a fresh new start for me. Meeting new people and kind of having to just start all over, right? And that's something I talk to our guys about a lot. When you go to the college level, everybody is almost the best guy on their team in high school. When you get to college, you have a clean slate, right? Yeah. And so you kind of have to start over from ground zero. And, I guess that's just a long way for me to say, it was kind of the same person I am now. Let's walk in here, be the hardest working guy in the room, and make an impact, anywhere I can. But yeah, way different day and age back then than it is now. It was a nerve-wracking and exciting experience all at once, for sure.
So maybe some, younger high school, even maybe younger than that, lacrosse players out there watching this, as a coach, when it comes to recruiting, and maybe it's some of the attributes that you've already talked about, what are some things that you look for in a recruit when you're recruiting other than just being good at lacrosse?
Yeah, for me specifically, I look for multi-sport athletes. I think I can be a little biased having grown up and played 3 sports all of high school, but that is one of the most important things that I look for in the recruiting process, because when you get to the college level, lacrosse is what you are doing, 365 days of the year. When we get on campus, for the start of the college semester, we start practicing in September, and we're pretty much full go for the most part until May, and so it is a heavy day-to-day grind. And I feel personally that, kids that grow up playing multiple sports, going from one season to the next, when they get to the college level, it's normal to them, right? And then, the next point to that is, in high school when you're playing multiple sports, it's really for lacrosse, you're picking up your stick when basketball ends, and you're kind of just going. Like when you get to college and you have your lacrosse stick in your hand, all season long and all year long, your performance and your abilities really kind of skyrocket. So for me, going through the recruiting process, multi-sport athletes is huge. Guys that, again, the cliches, guys that work hard and play fast and have a whole lot of athleticism is specifically for me what's most important and what I look at. When you get to the college level, we're going to develop you and teach you, our ways and our systems. And so we really look for, sometimes the things that you can't teach, which is that athleticism and hard work.
Yeah. And you mentioned, wearing multiple different hats and, talked about hard work and what that means to you and how you want to how you want to represent your life. What exactly, what kind of legacy that you want to leave behind when it's all said and done? I know that's a far time from coming, but, but just kind of, think about it a little bit. What kind of legacy would you want to leave behind when you're probably, who knows when you'd be done with lacrosse completely, or when you would be done with coaching here at Detroit Mercy? What kind of legacy would you want to leave behind?
Yeah, I think whenever the day comes that I leave Detroit Mercy specifically, something that I heard, years ago was leave it better than you found it. For me as a coach here at Detroit Mercy specifically, I want to leave this program and this team better than I found it. And that's kind of, my big thing as I go through this kind of coaching career here at Detroit Mercy, that I'm making sure that I leave behind.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, once again, Coach, I have the utmost respect for you. You know that, a lot of us guys, especially the alumni that I talk to as well, we always talk about how much you mean to this program and how much you mean to Detroit Mercy, and we're all willing to go through a wall for you because especially the kind of presence that you bring or the expectations that you bring for our team and our program. It's just we all bought into it and we see the vision. So it's just it's an honor to have you here as our first guest. I'm super pumped about that, and I can't thank you enough for having the time to be here with me and Cole for this first episode.
Yeah, no, of course. Like I said, thank you guys for having me. It's an honor to be the first guest on the episode, and I'm excited to kind of see where you guys take this. I mean, this is very cool. When I was an athlete here, this would have been something that would have been awesome to have around. So I love what you guys are doing. Excited to kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Coach. Obviously, everybody knows you as just that, a coach, but hopefully after this episode, they've gotten to know you a little bit more about who you are, what you stand for, and, who's behind that coach.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, anytime. Well, that concludes this session of this episode. Later on, actually, we're going to actually have the players. So we just had the coach here for the first part, but we're going to have our next guest is Kyle Grant and Marcus Thundercloud. So this segment of the podcast, we have my former teammates. I have Kyle Grant, also known as KG.
We have Marcus Thundercloud. Some of us call him T-Cloud.
All right, and I'm very excited to introduce my former teammates. I'm going to introduce Kyle Grant. He's a senior captain from Grand Rapids, Michigan, graduated from East Grand Rapids High School, class of 2022. He's a close defenseman, first team All-NEC in 2025 and last season, and he made it to the NEC All-American Tournament team. He also led the NEC in most caused turnovers, which is 2 per game, and was 5th in the nation, 9th in the school history. He's also part of the NCAA Top 100 with ground balls per game with 3.38, and saw some action early on as a freshman. So he's been pretty much a standout since he stepped foot on campus.
We also got Marcus Thundercloud, who is a redshirt sophomore from Cedarburg, Wisconsin. He's an attackman / midfielder. He was the Rookie of the Year in the NEC last year. He's the first Titan freshman to earn a Rookie of the Year award since 2015. He's a 4 times NEC Rookie of the Week recipient as well. He tallied 22 goals in his freshman season, which was 6th in the conference and 57th in all of NCAA, which was good for 2.2 goals per game. He recorded 13 ground balls and 2 caused turnovers, and he was a part of the athletic director's honor roll as well in 2024. He was a 3-sport varsity athlete in high school, hockey, lacrosse, and soccer, all 3 of which I have never played. He recorded 177 career points in high school lacrosse. 107 of those were goals and 70 assists. And in both hockey and soccer, he was second team all-conference as a senior in high school as well. So boys, welcome to the show. Welcome to Titan Talk. We're excited to have you both here joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so how you guys feeling so far? I mean, I know you guys had a couple games under your belts, but just how you guys feeling from your guys' performance as an individual? How do you guys feel?
Individually, I feel, as good as I've ever been. Definitely the strongest I've ever been, best in shape I've ever been. But team-wise, we definitely started off a little slow, playing some pretty tough guys like Ohio State, Michigan, pretty good Bellarmine team, Marquette team. So definitely a slow start, but with conference play coming up, we should be in the upwards trend.
Yeah, same here. Been taking a little bit of a different role this year. Obviously, we have a lot of good freshmen. Just trying to find where I fit in and everything, but we show a lot of good moments in a lot of the different games, and if we're able to just piece it all together, I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah, because especially being part of the team before, I just know that usually the preseason is usually our toughest season, and I feel like, especially we were talking with Coach Hayes earlier today, we were just talking about how it just sets us up for conference play.
For sure.
And what are your guys' thoughts on that as well? Playing against this tough competition, all the time, how does that make you guys feel?
I mean, personally, I love being able to compare myself to the top athletes of all of Division I, whether that be Notre Dame, Ohio State, anything. I just like being able to compare myself with guys who are kind of given a better opportunity, if you want to call that, like a scholarship. But no, I mean, I love playing it, and Detroit's been known for kind of playing one of the hardest out of conference schedules, apart from all those big teams. But yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're doing good things on that kind of stage with those big teams, then what can't we do in conference kind of thing? So.
Right.
Yeah.
So first off, I want to start with Kyle, and then Marcus, you can answer the same question. When did you start playing lacrosse, and what kind of made you fall in love with the game in the first place?
I started playing lacrosse in 5th grade. I was more so peer pressured to play it because I was a pretty big kid, and I didn't really like baseball too much. And what made me fall in love with the game was the freedom it kind of gave you. You weren't told to just stand at a base and catch a ball. You can kind of run around, do whatever you wanted, and then obviously as the game got a little more serious, I started dialing it in. But that's probably how I fell in love with the game.
Yeah, and my brother always played, so I kind of started to pick up stick as soon as I could, really. I think my first actual team was 4th grade, and then kind of just fell in love with it right away. I always played a lot of sports, but lacrosse kind of just stood out.
Well, I was going to ask you, because obviously we talked about how lacrosse was not the only sport you played, even in high school at the varsity level. Was it always your favorite, or did it kind of, go back and forth depending on what was in season, or where did you stand with, all the sports?
Yeah, hockey and lacrosse definitely rotated, kind of just depending on the season, depending on how good we were. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I did not know you played soccer. I thought you were only like a two-sport. I knew you were really good at hockey and lacrosse, but I did not know soccer was in the mix.
Yeah, didn't you play goalie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah, I played growing up and then stopped around 5th grade, I think, and then just randomly one day I was like, why not?
Right.
Senior year, I'll try out. Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that Coach Hayes talked about when he was looking for recruits was multi-sport athletes, and how he really feels like if you play multiple sports in high school, whether that be, whatever sport it might be, just the routine of when you're in that season, you're always engaged and practicing, putting time in and putting work in, and then when you're on to the next season, for the next sport, it's kind of just the same thing. It's kind of a never-ending cycle. So he talked about how those athletes, he felt like when they got to the college level, they were kind of already adapted to that type of routine of, always being on top of things, always putting in work, no matter what sport it might have been in high school.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also too, I also confused KG for playing basketball because for his height, but actually he was a football player back then. So
Yeah.
tell us about that. Like how was playing football in high school? Like
Playing football was great in high school. I did play basketball growing up, but my dad forced me to play it, so I didn't really like it.
Okay.
And I would just foul out every game, so it wasn't really for me. But playing football, I loved it growing up. Definitely had a lot of injuries playing football, but I think it gave me kind of like a toughness edge to myself, and I think that translates onto the field. Like I'm not really afraid to hit anyone. But it also helped me get stronger too. I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I can't imagine how much weaker I would be if I had never played football. So
What position?
I played defensive end, and I was a punter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I also played a little bit of tight end, but I wasn't too much of a offensive guy because I didn't really like learning the plays. So I stayed on defense.
just cover a guy, just
Yeah,
find him, and
yeah.
then just smoke him if I have to.
Yeah, for sure.
Got you. Another question I have for you: what made you choose Detroit Mercy as a school for you to go to and play for? You both can answer this question.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't really planning on playing in college, and then I got hurt and realized how much I actually did like sports. And so it's kind of like a last-minute decision. And my head coach got fired for drinking on the bus the year prior. So one of the coach's best friends ended up stepping in as the head coach the next year. And so he was like, hey, I got you a spot on the team if you really want to go do that. And I took a visit, and ever since then I've been a Titan.
Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't change it for a thing, and pretty glad I chose to be a lacrosse player here.
Yeah, and then for me it was kind of just being a good amount of distance away from home, I guess, and not too far to where you can't drive. But I remember talking with Colin, and he was like, I know you just from talking to you, and you'll love a lot of the guys here. And I took a visit. I already knew one of the players, or two of the players actually, but yeah, just kind of like the team and everything it stood for.
Yeah, especially with talking about not being far away. We always see your dad with the T-Club mobile. It's a very iconic sprinter van that you will see with a big thunderbolt in the cloud. Obviously, Thundercloud. But no, it's super cool when you see it come by, and it's always it's kind of gives it a tailgate kind of vibe every time he comes by. So
it definitely brings the energy.
No, for sure.
Great guy. Yeah.
So obviously, you guys are two of the leaders on this team. You guys are both extremely skilled players, obviously, but over the course of the off season, was there anything that you guys really wanted to, that you saw in your game, that you were like, I really want to improve in this area to continue to grow as a lacrosse player? Obviously, every single athlete has things that they want to continue to improve upon, and they want to continue to just elevate their game in general. But was there anything specifically for each of you that you saw and you were like, that's a place where I might have a weakness and I really want to try and get better and work on that?
For sure, yeah. I think my footwork was a main emphasis for me, just stepping into that like #1 pole spot. I definitely got to be able to like match feet with like the best players in the country. So footwork was a big thing for me, and then strength, and then also like pushing transition and being kind of like an offensive threat was kind of a big emphasis for me in the off season. So, I mean,
sure, those 2 goals are paying off.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I mean, I'd like to think that it's paying off, but it's also like the guys that I'm playing with that are kind of helping me in those situations. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and then for me, strength as well. I mean, that never hurts. But then I'd say probably off-ball playing. I mean, last year it was 2 assists, I believe, and this year I already have 4, and that's always been kind of something I struggled with, and especially this year with, like I said, all the young talent that we have. It's kind of essential to be able to play off ball and not just only on ball and dodging all the time. So
It's great stuff.
Yeah. And with that being said, what is the team like this year, and what is the cultural values that you guys have that you haven't put in place for this year's team, especially with it being a young team? I know it can be kind of a struggle, or there's some challenges that you guys may face, but what are you guys setting in place for this year's team?
Honestly, I feel like a big thing has just been like mentality and just being positive and just trying to focus on working hard. Obviously, there's a lot of uncontrollable things in being a Division I athlete. But I really think that this is like one of the closest teams we've ever had. Like, I feel like I can joke with anyone on the team and be able to kind of say what's on my mind and not have to like hold back. And I kind of hope that that's the same way with like some of the younger guys. And yeah, I mean, I love every guy on the team this year.
yeah, I mean, I say like freshman year coming in, we're kind of coming off seasons where we didn't do good at all. I think the whole culture and energy of the team was more negative. I don't know what you guys, but yeah, more negative. And coming off of last year, I talked about it with a bunch of guys actually. Just like the whole fall, it was just like all like positive energy. It was fun. Everyone just kind of wanted to work as hard as everyone else did. But yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I could attest to that, because especially being on many teams, because I've been here for some time.
Yeah.
But I've been here for some times. But I can definitely tell there's a difference within the team for sure. Especially when you guys watch this team, like obviously there's talent across like every single person down the roster. Like no one doesn't lack skill. Mm-hmm. So. But honestly, not only that, but I just like, obviously I'm there at the practices to come like, check it out and see how you guys are doing, and I try to help out however I can. But just seeing like, the camaraderie that you guys have amongst each other is like, it's so fun and so refreshing to be around, because it's like everyone is enjoying and everyone wants to practice, everyone wants to be there. So it's just like, it definitely shows, especially because I know there's been times where like a lot of guys like, they say they love the game, and this is not, not trying to put anyone down, but it's just like, at times I felt like it was like only a few people actually truly love the game, but you can tell that everyone on this team loved the game and they love each other. So
For sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here being on Titan Talk, we want to not only get to know you as a lacrosse player, but a lot of people know you guys as lacrosse players. So we want to give everybody an opportunity to get to know you guys on a more personal level and who you are as well. So Kyle, you can go first, and then Marcus, you can follow. When you take time away from lacrosse and you guys, happen to stumble into some free time, what do you like to do most with that free time?
Well, recently I've been playing a lot of Minecraft with some of the teammates. I actually think we're planning on killing the Wither tonight, so I'm pretty excited to do that. Other than that, usually just eating food in my free time, hanging out with friends. I've been drawing recently.
Okay.
That's been a pretty fun one, drawing and like coloring, but other than that, I mean.
What were we drawing?
Do like anything.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like I'll paint, like I'll not paint, but I'll print out like a coloring sheet. I'll just do that for like 30 minutes. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
You just practice like drawing with
Yeah,
it.
Drawing with
it's literally, I mean, you know how business majors are, so. Yeah.
I love it.
Other than that, yeah, just been chilling and doing my own thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's chill.
Yeah, and then for me, I'd say, yeah, hanging out with friends is a big thing. I live in a house with 5 other guys, so we're always hanging out for the most part. I've been starting to read, actually. Haven't been too good on it, but that's something that's been good for me. And then I'm a big movie guy, so
Ooh,
I love
nice.
watching movies.
Do you have like a top 3 movies that if you had to if you couldn't watch any other movie for the rest of your life except for you got to pick 3,
Yeah,
you
I'll
have
say,
3 that would come to mind?
Gladiator, just off my Top Gun, and then
nice.
Oh, that's a good one.
New one or old one?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Oh, yeah.
It's gotta be old one, right?
Old
Yeah,
one, the
yeah.
classic.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
and then third, shoot. Let's see. I don't know. It's kind of stumping me. Can't think of one.
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Those are two good choices for 2 off the top of your dome, though. I like it.
Okay. But like, I have like a couple questions that I mean, they're kind of a little bit of a curveball. What is the biggest misconception you think lacrosse players get? Because like I feel like a lot of times, like I feel like especially I get the question to ask all the time, like, oh, like are like people think that we're just like guys that are just just has like no brain cells or whatever and all that, but I feel like no, I feel like a lot of us have like unique traits about us that
I gotta think about this in like a PG manner. Gosh, I feel like a lot of people view the sport as like soft, or like players like as like kind of like fairies, or just like it's not really like manly, I guess.
yeah, people try to say it's not a real sport.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people only really see like the lower levels of it, like the low, like just kids who just started playing, or like younger kids playing. I don't really know. It's like I'm trying to think of like a normal way of saying that without saying like some curse words and stuff.
I don't know if there are a ton of PG misconceptions.
Exactly. Like it's either like douchebag, like it's literally like it's one of those.
Yeah.
Gee, like can you guys think of anything? Like yeah, what I mean as a non-lacrosse player guy,
Yeah.
like I feel like this one might need to go to
I don't know.
We're like preppy, like
yeah, like rich, like preppy,
Spoiled.
like spoiled.
I don't know. I feel like they're from like a personality standpoint. It's like how hockey players are kind of perceived.
Yeah.
I would say it's like half a step down. So like think in the same way that hockey players are perceived, just like they have that mantra, they have that reputation.
Yeah.
Like like they're a hockey player. I feel like lacrosse is like not exactly the same, but like similar and maybe like half a step to a step down from that.
It's almost like a soccer and hockey mix.
Right, yeah. Like,
it's like they
that's
take
a
some
good-
aspects of being like a fairy from like soccer, and then like the douchiness of hockey.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
that's a good. Actually, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put
Huh. Okay. Should we like come up with like a joint answer?
yeah.
Oh yeah, Marcus, do you have
Yeah.
any that have you heard any from other people that like, I thought lacrosse players were just Have you heard
I'd
anything
just
from
say
other
like
people?
preppy, kind of douchebag.
Yeah.
Like it's only like like douchebags, preppy. Gosh, yeah, it's a lot of ones.
I know that was a huge curveball because I was
Frat
like,
guys that play a sport.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the best way to put
Yeah.
it. I think because like everyone thinks that like we're our own frat because they're like, oh well, lacrosse players they do this and X, Y, and Z. Like it's just like. Especially in a lot of lacrosse players are business majors or communication, and that's where also too like they kind of like downplay who lacrosse players are.
Yeah.
I feel like so.
I mean, it's even like athletes without the size.
Yeah.
That's another great one. It's like if you're big enough, you go play football. If you're tall enough, you go play basketball. If you're,
Right.
That's a good. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. too.
Yeah, but it's like there are great athletes in lacrosse though.
Right. Oh, 100%.
I mean, you see guys in the NBA, NFL, like all.
Right.
Oh, that was a tangent. Anyway.
You're good.
I mean, are you down? Like, is there any way I can say like douchey and tool, and you just like bleep it out?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll
Oh,
bleep
yeah.
it out because, like, I mean, dude, it's like we're in college though, so it's like
Yeah.
mostly college audience. I
Yeah,
mean, you'll probably have some kids may stumble across it or something like that, or high school kids.
Yeah. Well, I
most
just don't
likely.
like. I'm gonna say like I don't care about like me saying anything. I just didn't want like.
Oh yeah,
the
no,
school
you're
to like
good.
be like, oh, you guys can't have.
Douchebag does not. If
Yeah.
douchebag needs to be
Censored.
censored, we're in trouble.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So like douchebag, preppy.
I like
Entitled.
the soccer. I like the soccer and hockey like
Mix.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
So how would your family and close friends describe you in 3 words? So those that actually do know you for who you are, how would they describe you in 3 words? Good or bad? Maybe it's
I would
honest answer.
I would probably say authentic, caring, and chaotic.
Okay, I like
I
that.
think.
I like that. Those are
think.
very broad. Those
Yeah.
leave a lot of room for interpretation, but I like
Yeah.
it. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably nice.
That's nice.
What else? Could probably go with chaotic as well. And then, let's see. Creative.
Creative. Ooh.
Mm.
I like that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, on a personal level, what challenges do you face on a day-to-day basis balancing being a student and an athlete at the Division I level?
Currently pre-calc. That's been a battle. Accounting 2 is also a struggle. But other than that, I mean, it's just stuff you got to do. It's like you're gonna have to face adversity in the real world. Like you're not gonna be able to just, fade something and just kind of forget about it. You kind of got to face it head on and stay prepared. And I think as long as you kind of stay ahead of the game, you usually end up being all right at the end of the semester. But if you let yourself fall back, then you won't be good at the end of the semester. So yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's probably keep my priorities straight. Like, I don't know, I've always played sports, and so I've always been sports first kind of a guy. So kind of staying with academics as much as I can is probably my biggest problem. Just kind of trying to find the purpose of it, I guess, and trying to find stuff that I enjoy learning about. Like real estate classes, it's pretty hard, but it's something that I actually enjoy. So getting to not like the more elective side of the courses is nice.
So, do you guys have any secret we know you're good at lacrosse, but do you guys have any secret talents that other people might not know as much about?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I have any secret talents.
Coach said he was good at a lot of bar games. So
Bar
the
games?
darts and the shuffleboards.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Yeah, I would say I'm pretty good at bar games.
Yeah.
Yeah, any sort of game that involves
Any
Training.
competition?
yeah,
Okay.
competition, stuff like that. Yeah.
I think one thing that I don't think a lot of people know, but I do hear KG sometimes, especially being on the bus or in the locker room. He'll be singing a couple
Oh
times.
goodness, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hey, he low-key got some vibes on that,
Good
man.
voice.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Solid
I don't
singing
know.
voice?
I like to sing, but I wouldn't
He'll
say it's
sing along
very
with
good.
songs. I don't think he's gonna be singing on the spot just like
Yeah,
himself. but,
right.
like,
You won't catch me selling any stadiums out.
yeah,
I-
I'll hear. I'm like, okay. I was like, okay, he can sing a little.
Yeah.
Would you ever sing the national anthem before a game?
Oh no, but I love doing karaoke though. Once I
Yeah?
get a little confidence in me, I have no issues singing in front of people. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Low confidence
This
in
year on
you.
the bus.
yeah. This year I sang a little bit of Frank Sinatra. I sang My
Ooh.
Way.
Nice.
okay.
Fire.
It was good.
Oh, why didn't you say that? Come on now, people want to know that.
I know, but I don't know if that's something you say about yourself. That's yeah. I don't know. I guess.
Now everybody's gonna ask you to
Nah,
Shit, yeah,
Dude,
I
no,
guess.
trust me. When I tell people, I'm like, or people hear me sing, they're like, "Oh, can you sing?" I'm like, "Bro,
I know you can sing. Yeah,
I'm like, but I'm just like, bro, I'd be chill.
yeah,
you know?
exactly. It's like don't hype me up.
Exactly. I'm like, please don't.
Yeah.
I need to stop.
For
What
sure.
about you, Marcus?
For me,
Can you sing?
No, that's not one of my capabilities.
I can't either.
I was always pretty good at pottery.
Ooh,
Oh,
I
okay.
like that's
So
fire.
I made some pretty good bowls or some other things, but yeah.
People are gonna love that one.
Oh
That's
yeah,
fire.
dude, that's tough. How long have you been doing that? Like,
Well, I did, I think pottery 1, 2, 3, and 4 in high school.
oh
So,
dang.
yeah.
Wow, experience then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, being a Division I athlete, you know, we sometimes, like, you know, we try to do our best, you know, being eating the right things to fuel our bodies to make sure that we're performing right. But what is your go-to cheat meal that you just like I have to have that, like, or like finally season's over or whatever, or if you just need something good and you're like, okay, I would want to have this. What's your go-to cheat meal?
I don't diet, so I eat whatever I want whenever I want. But I really love Maine Donut. It's a little small donut shop on the way to school. So me, my roommate Dan, Tristan, we always stop there. But other than that, like a sneaky little cheap meal that I've been recently on is egg salad. I've been slamming egg salad just to get the protein in.
I don't know about egg salad, man.
It's a little wave right now just to get the protein in, but yeah, it's not the best, but it's healthy.
Goodness, we started off so strong.
I know, right?
Yeah, no, that's not like a cheat meal. That's more of like a gotta get what you gotta get and just to fuel your body. But yeah,
egg salad.
For me, I gotta say, just Chinese food. I love Chinese food.
Hey, have you ever hit China Walk that's down the street?
Actually, no.
You gotta try that place.
Any specific place? Like, get us some sponsorships here.
Thai Fi is also,
Thai
dude,
Fi
their
is so
sushi,
good.
bro, the box that it comes in is so dope. Like, the graphic, I'm like, I was so tempted to keep the box, but my friends were like, dude, just throw that away.
the shrimp tempura rolls are so good there. I think they got rid of the boxes though.
They did?
Yeah, now
No
it's just
way.
plastic containers. I know.
Bro.
That's how you know he's old.
Yeah.
All right, relax. All right, man.
That's how you know he's
Dude,
been
okay,
here,
the
bro.
last time I had Thai Fi was actually, I think, about 2 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that checks out. Yeah.
Yeah, I get the sweet and sour chicken, little chicken fried rice, some egg rolls, and then it's actually in season now, but the Shamrock Shake from McDonald's.
Oh yeah, big Shamrock
Love that.
Shake. Yeah.
Dip a little fries in it, but
Nice. So as we get ready to wrap up this episode, how do you each want to be remembered, you know, for your time here at Detroit Mercy? What kind of legacy do you guys want to leave behind? How do you want people to remember your time here?
Just a good dude and a good athlete, I guess.
Simple.
yeah, I mean, pretty much same here. Yeah.
Yeah, good dude, good athlete.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to be remembered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I also have one more question. You could also answer this too, Marcus. Before we leave, especially this is being your last year, right? From your time being here, what has been your favorite spot to chill at, or like to, you know, whether it's to study, whether it's just to be around with friends on campus? Like, what has been your favorite go-to spot to like just kind of get away from everything?
I would say it was Titan Club, and then that kind of got shut down, under construction right now. So recently, like the last year or so, we've been going to this place called Firefly.
Okay.
It's like a spa and ice bath place.
Okay.
It's been a great place to just kind of put the phone down and recover and mentally recover, physically recover. But on campus, that little room with like where Betsy and Amy work.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that room's called, but
It's like I guess it's like the student athlete academic center or something like that.
Yeah, it's like the Success Center, but in Callahan for athletes, as opposed to the one in the library.
There's no tutoring in there though. but-
No.
I like that room because they got Sour Patch Kids.
Oh
so
yeah, the
I
snacks are
typically-
nice.
Yeah, they do keep the snacks.
Typically find myself up there,
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Okay, what about you, Marcus?
For me, I mean, I'm not on campus too much, but I guess when I am, it's mostly in the student athlete academic center or the library. But yeah, I'm typically with like some of my roommates or friends in the library, so that's always a fun time.
So thank you guys for being here. It's been a pleasure to have, you guys here and just be able to shine a different light on you guys so people can get to know you guys on a different level and see, what means most to you and what goes on your personal life.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. This was great. I hope everybody took something away from this. Hopefully you guys, have fun being on here.
Yeah.
We're hoping to get a lot of athletes on here to kind of, tell everybody more about who they are, apart from who they are on the field or the court.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And that concludes today's episode. My name is Ali Don Jean-Francois.
I'm Cole Hostetler.
And this is
Titan Talk.